Hey, this is Darren. It is late. I just came from a client side. I actually had dinner. It was a roast for the owner of the company for a keynote I'm doing tomorrow morning. Started at 7, thought it'd be done by 9. Goes on and on and on. So, very late, but got to do it. Did my 18 minutes today, and now I got to go to bed to get up and do the keynote tomorrow. However, this was actually a great reading day. Did more from the book, and a few things I learned that's really fascinating. And I had started learning this at the workshop with the screenwriters, but I realized structure is the most important thing to start putting together first. So spacing things out and knowing how you're going to tell the story. So 3 acts, just like speakers need the 3 points in a good structured or well structured speech. And what I learned from Linda, she really made it really clear, which I love: clarity, clarity, clarity. Act 1 refers to the material that sets up the story and introduces the characters, establishes the problem, the issue, the need, or the goal. And she said that the Act 1 is usually 25 to 30 minutes. Act 2 develops the situation and the relationships. And this is the longest act of a movie. Sometimes they say when movies drag on, part of what she explained is that means Act 1 was way too long before that change or that turning point occurs. So Act 2 develops a situation and relationships and develops a story, shows actions the character is willing to do to set up the goal. And there's obstacles that also creates problems for the character. Then Act 3, the consequences of decisions made in Act 2. The payoff of the story, it reveals it. Usually a dramatic build to the climax, and usually that's about 20 to 30 minutes long, usually the shortest, but yet the most exciting. And looking at my story, and she also said if there's a climactic moment in your story, use it. So I will be building it around the championship. However, that's really not the main part of the story. That's just going to be Act 3. Transition scenes are important too that she brought up, which that shows us when we go from Act 1 to Act 2 and Act 2 to Act 3. And so for me, like when decisions are made, for me, it's what would you dare to dream if you knew you wouldn't fail? That's when a decision was made that I was going to go for this. And then there'll also be if you're familiar with the hero's journey, where we go, if you're not familiar, long time to explain, we're not going to do that now, but when the hero goes to the depths or to the underworld. So that will be like when I meet Vinny, and that will go up and transition into Dave Fitzgerald, will take me through the rest of the underworld and come up, la, and then I'll meet Mark Brown. So I'll really have 3 mentors, which are the 3 instrumental people in my life that help bring me through this journey. And then when Dave Fitzgerald passed away about a year before I completed the championship. So it was about 6 months before I entered the contest. But part of his passing will be why I joined the contest. That enough is enough. I got to get serious about this and really crank it up. So it's actually starting to solidify, and I'm starting to see where those major plot points will be in my story. So learned a lot. Today was a good day. I really didn't want to do this today because I spent so much time getting everything cleaned up from Lady and the Champs. And then I had the keynote speech, so that's the priority. But 17 minutes, I still had to work it in. So I get it. For those of you who are thinking about your dream or moving towards your dream, that there's days that you don't want to do it. But it's your dream. You got to plan it. Got to make it happen. And Ed Tate always reminds me, behaviors never lie. So what's your behavior? 18 minutes closer to my goal today. Got to go to bed for the keynote speech. How about you? Well, not do you have to go to bed. Have you made progress today for your goal?
Stage time. Hey.